You had a motorcycle in the at one point in time. I remember Dad talking about that. Remember?
A motorcycle.
Yeah, pretty big one. It sounded
Remember
like.
you and Don went to the Sturgis motorcycle races, I think, and on the way home, you wrecked.
Said you went off the road. I'm not sure if it was said.
Went off the road and,
Oh, yeah.
Joe had that.
Don and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, went down there north of Howells. Raining like a son of a gun.
Yeah.
Is it gravel then? The road?
Oh, yeah.
Gravel road, yeah.
So.
And there was a ridge of gravel about that high along the edge.
Uh-huh.
And we met Roger Krause, I believe it was. And we pulled over to the side and
That ridge gravel?
the windshield on that motorcycle had a bar stuck down about that far. And that thing went down along to my shin.
Oh, really? Damn.
I went into town and went to the doctor and got straightened up. And then I got,
Give about 10 minutes and call the nurse's station.
I got gangrene or something in it.
Damn.
And Joe Shaner come by. And he came to visit, you know, and he asked me what was the matter, and I said, I don't know. I said, just sick. And he looked at my leg and he said, my God, he said, you got gangrene in there.
Damn.
So they,
Lucky not to have lost a leg, probably.
yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah. Well, did the motorcycle get totaled then, or you were able to ride
No,
it back?
it didn't.
Ride it back into town?
Yeah, we took it. My brother Paul wound up with that motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. and
Okay,
I-
well, that's the Indian with Suicide Shift. That his son, David, has it now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I remember seeing that because David had it in Rapid, and he would ask me if I wanted to ride it, and I was, had the little dirt bikes and stuff, and I knew how to ride them, but that thing was like, shit, so that's half a ton or something. It was like, and then you couldn't shift it. You had to shift it on the Suicide, or the gearbox was actually like a car shifting. And I said it was like one of the biggest old Indian bikes and stuff. So okay, that's if Paul got it, that's what it was. So I thought Paul
wound
brought
up
it.
with it, and I bought that airplane then when he got that motorcycle.
Oh yeah, which airplane? You had one, and Bill had one, and
I bought an Aeronca and a set of skis, and I did a lot of flying with that.
really just around the area, or did you go on to like some of the places?
It's all over the area.
Yeah. So because they used to have, didn't they used to have like fly-ins where people from
Yeah,
all
we-
over would come in?
Flying farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go to that, Bill and Paul.
They
a
never
couple of-
had one of them in Fayetteville, did they?
They what?
They never did have one of them in Fayetteville. They were all the pilots fly into Faith
Yeah.
and they did, huh?
Yeah, we had one at Faith, and one at Pier, and one down at
The hills.
somewhere down there toward the Black Hills.
Don and I flew up to Bison one time. They had one.
So who all had planes back then?
Well, Bill had one, I had one, Paul had a J3
Oh yeah.
Cub.
Pete Carey had one.
He what?
Pete Carey had one, I know.
Yeah, but his flying didn't work out. He couldn't judge
Yeah.
height.
How about the guy that run the gamble store? Didn't he
Don,
also?
yeah, he started.
Isaac's talked about killed too. Isaac's had that bum leg because of his plane, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, he got his leg.
yeah. So now where'd Dad get his? Where'd buy his plane?
Don,
Yeah.
I think that's the one that,
Did you get it from Bill or?
Isaac got. And he wrecked it and just darn near killed himself.
Yeah, and then bought the Dad had it then after that, or that he got it after from Dad.
Yeah, he got it from.
Oh yeah. Well, when did Dad had a plane when you all had planes too? Then
Yeah,
you did. Okay, so y'all were doing.
well, Grandpa Talley,
Oh, okay.
you
Yeah.
know, had those 2 airplanes,
Really?
a
So you got
Stinson and a
Piper and a
Ronca,
Ronca?
90
Oh, yeah.
horse or something.
Yeah.
He had 2 when he died.
Ah. I remember Dad talking about there were a couple brothers who really weren't very good at flying, and said Morris Talley was one that had a real problem judging distance, and they said
Morris
Clayton too.
and
Yeah.
Who was the one that lived over by Spearfish?
Clayton was over by Belfius
Clayton,
and Sure,
yeah.
yeah. So, but he didn't have planes and stuff, I think, then, but he had those, houses and the places over there in St. Ange area and stuff. So, but Dad I remember him talking about where he was trying to teach Morris how to fly. They said he'd get that plane nearly the ground and stuff, and then he'd just drop it. That plane would go down and then come back up, and he said he couldn't get the plane on the ground and stuff. So it was fun. It's about almost wrecked it a couple of times, and I think someone was riding with him that was able to help him get it down. So, and did you all have then the bear cubs and stuff then, Rosie?
No, I think they were gone already, but.
Oh, they were. Yeah. So
Oh,
was
Harvey, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had a big cage out at the ranch and stuff behind that metal car garage and stuff. It was right down the side and stuff. They said
Yeah.
so. It said, used to little bear cubs and stuff used to run kind of wild, and Rosie was the name of the mother bear. Yes. So, yeah.
Who's them people west of Green that had that?
And let me go get my clipboard so I can write this information.
Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
Had to what?
Miller.
They had an airplane right off the road there by the monument.
Oh, really?
Jim Shannon was telling me, well, we talking, and this guy didn't know how to fly, but he was taxiing up and down, and the damn thing took off in the air. Well, he didn't know how to land it, so then there was a lake right there, and he was gonna fly over that lake and jump out. Well, about the time he got ready to jump out, he was over the lake, He finally got it on the ground.
Oh, he's going to bail out and let the plane crash.
Just let the plane go.
And that was what were their names? The
Millers.
Millers. Oh, okay. I know them. Yeah, I went to school with one of the grandkids and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, but. You all had a band. Were you in the band in Faith? Were you in the band in Faith? Was it Paul and Bob?
No.
Or, I mean, Paul and Marie and.
Marie hated that pickle.
Yeah, she's in there getting that.
She wanted to play the flute and
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And Ray Bird didn't want it to.
Don down
We stopped one time
there.
and
Watch him.
we were going through and we stopped and saw Nubs and his wife. But I think he's gone now, and I think Luella's dead. I talked to her a different times. She lived around Denver somewhere.
Ray Bird, he moved over to where Sundance,
I think so, yeah.
kind of foreman for WPA or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stopped and visited with them.
Boy, he was a good band director, that guy.
Was it Saturday afternoon when they
I also
played down
dropped
there by
off
the,
some labels, name labels.
I got the labels
Yes,
I think there was a bandstand.
on the east side of the street there?
Johnny Fisher's house is now. Bandstand.
When did you meet Lorraine?
When did I meet?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the first time I met her was at Faith. Her mother and my mother lived together in Nebraska. They played together,
Oh yeah.
and of course they were coming through, so her mother told Ed that she'd like to stop, and he said, well, we'll stop, but it'll only be for an hour.
That was her parents or her father?
Her dad,
Right.
yeah, and they had a cabin rented in, around Belfouche, I believe, somewhere up in there. And they stopped, and of course, her dad and my dad got to talking, and oh my God.
It was more than an hour?
It was hopeless. Wound up 3 days.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't
But
use the
anyway,
cabin?
that was where I met her. And then
You had a bet with her, didn't you?
they stayed at our place for, I think, 2 or 3 days. Anyway, in the process, we went to a dance at Dupree. And Eddie, Lorraine's brother, got a date with DuBois' daughter. And I don't know don't remember how everything went, but anyway, we wound up going together.
Didn't she make a bet with you that you would never come to Kansas to see her? She got her $5 back because you went down.
So your mom and her mom were friends, and that's how you
In
was.
Nebraska.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then what? How did they end up in Kansas then? Did the
Well-
family move down there?
We had just built a house, the one you had, and they come up for Thanksgiving for dinner, and her dad wanted us to move down and take over the place. He had bought a ranch in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
So he wanted us to move down there and take over the place, and to start with, we didn't think it was too good an idea because we wanted him to sell us the place rather than
Lease it.
just lease it,
yeah.
you know. And I said, you know, if anything happened to you, I said, we'd just be shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So anyway, the way that went.
Didn't Dad try to talk you out of it?
Dad, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big mistake. And I said, I don't see how it could be a mistake. I said, I can have my choice. I can stay here and starve,
You got it?
or
And Faith. Yeah.
move down there. And
Just that
we
say stop.
visited Christmas time. I told him, I said, well, if you sell me the home place, the house, always the quarter land and the house and a little bitty old
That little red thing
shed
that say
about
stop.
20 feet long and 12, 14 feet wide. That's all that was on the place. But anyway, we managed to get it bought. And it turned out good for us.
Yeah. How many acres? You said the first acres when you moved down there. How many acres?
Acres.
Yeah.
Well, we bought the quarter section where the home place was, and then I think he had 4, 5 quarters of irrigated land. And
How big's a quarter? How many acres is a quarter?
160.
Oh, okay.
And then he also had some rented land over at Modoc that he had rented from an old doctor. And anyway, we wound up staying together.
Excellent. And then you basically, kept acquiring or buying additional land to
Yeah.
make it what it is today. So, when did you do irrigation? Was that already irrigated or?
Yeah, it was irrigated.
Okay.
When we quit, we had, I think 3,600 acres that we had bought and paid for. So
That's a lot of acres for Kansas.
quite a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
for there.
Yeah. So,
And I had put up a grain handling system. I had 3 round bins that held 18,000 bushel apiece.
wow.
And then I put a auger over the top of them, and I could Lorraine could bring a truck in and dump in a pit, and it would go up
Oh, yeah.
that through the leg and dump into that auger, and I could fill all 3 of those bins.
With one without moving the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a pretty good setup.
Yeah. Now, did you, I know in North Dakota they have quite a few people were building, silos, or no, just the grain bins and stuff, and using it to store. They were being paid to store it for government
You got paid from the government to store that.
to store it. So,
I don't remember. It seemed like it was 10 cents a bushel, maybe, or something like that.
Oh, you do, okay, I think I can put my paperwork. Yeah. You want me to put the other one in there for you? Yeah, okay.
I remember one time you came up and something happened that the corn had gotten wet in one of those silos, and I think you had to sell it to the pig farmers or something.
Oh, yeah, we was gonna come, and I went and checked those bins, and it was too much moisture in it. And we had to peel off a little of the top. And then I gave it to a guy, old guy there that had a bunch of hogs. And he put it in, he had a little round, about a 6-foot diameter tank.